Welcome to Meekum's Gone Farmin' Vintage Tractor Auction, featuring the only classic tractor auction of its kind in the country. Today, some of the hardest to find tractors in the world will hit the auction block. So sit back and relax and enjoy Meekum's Gone Farmin' Vintage Tractor Auction.
Well, hello everyone, and thank you for joining us for today's auction. It's Meekum's Gone Farmin' Nashville's Classic Tractor Auction. I'm Mike Holland along with Max Wilson. And Max, we have a fantastic day lined up.
Yeah, we've got a little bit of something for everyone here. Ought to be an interesting day.
Should be exciting all the way around for vintage signs along with some fantastic tractors. Don't go anywhere. The Meekum Gone Farmin' Tractor Auction is coming up right after this. Well, thank you for joining us once again. I'm Mike Holland along with Max Wilson, and this is Meekum's Gone Farmin' here in Nashville. Remember, you can always watch the Meekum Gone Farmin' auctions every Tuesday at 5:30 Eastern, every Saturday at 10:30 Eastern on RFD-TV.
Now we got lot S50 is a 1953 cockshut 20. Another beautiful restoration, our second cockshut here at the auction. New tires all around. This one's got the wide front, 3-point on it.
And we're still able to maintain all of our people here in the Agriculture Expo Center.
This is one of 4,000 built too, Mike, so a little bit on the unusual side.
Somebody's going to end up getting a good deal if they can get the reserve lifted off of this one. And he does. Sold at $4,500. Somebody got a good deal on that one.
Yeah, real nice, unique tractor. So, lot S51 is a 1959 Ford 741 with a single front wheel, no reserve. Rebuilt motor, new rear tires. Also has the Ford version of the spin-out rear wheels or the power adjust rear wheels. 3-point on it. I kind of like these tractors when they went to that red all over with just the gray wheels or the gray fenders on them. And single front wheel, you don't see many of them up by us. Maybe down here for maybe cultivating some of the crops, you see a few more of them. Maybe up in the Northeast for some of the crops. So, looks like we got 6,000 bid, looking for 7 right now. And those Fords, that was just an improvement over the Ford 8N. They went to overhead valves on them. Got a few more modern things, a little more lift capacity out of the hydraulics. So.
And some of the sellers here just kind of positioning themselves. Kathy has a 72.50 bid across the way. Looking for $7,500.
Yeah, just the paint on this tractor is amazing too. Just the quality of the job that the guy did painting it.
And they're going to start to roll this one out. See if it reaches the $7,500 mark.
You say 5. Did you say 5? I didn't have it out. 7.5. I got 75, sit down, 7.5. The hammerhead fell. 77.50. 77.50. That was close. He caught the last train out of town.
And they did hit the $7,500 mark right before the gavel fell.
77.50.
$7,500 to a very appreciative buyer there.
It's a Ford 601 with a selector speed.
Okay, S53 coming in is a 1962 Ford 601. I actually drove this tractor around a little bit when we were setting everything up. It was a nice running tractor. I don't know what's wrong with it right now. Has a selective speed, good rubber, restored, power steering on it. Once again, another beautiful restoration on this tractor too. And of course the Ford Selecto Speed, for people that don't know, that was kind of Ford's answer to the power shift that was in some of the other tractors. You actually had a little lever underneath the steering wheel that you used to shift your tractor. Didn't have to clutch to use it to shift, so. And this one here is also selling, I believe, at no reserve. So.
Well, someone's going to get a steal out of here. Just a little over $3,000 for that one. $32.50.
That one sold.
Well, Max, this has been a fantastic auction so far, but let's see what Kevin has got up top on the concourse. Kevin?
Here we've got Jeff, Brandon, and John. Jeff, what are we doing here today?
We're just checking out some of the tractors here. Used to be a collector, and I have a few still left over.
Sounds like you're still a collector if you've got some left over, right?
Yeah.
You guys like to help out with him?
Quite a bit.
So do you guys have a favorite tractor that you've seen so far here? What do you think, John?
I like the 850 diesel. 830.
You like the 830. What about you?
I like the AO. There's a 1950 AO down there I like.
You gonna put a bid on it?
Probably not. Not right now. I'm paying for him to go to college, so.
Gonna bring S53, a 1958 Ford 961. This one here's got the narrow front on it, the regular transmission. Also has remote hydraulics on it. Good rubber, has been repainted, but beautiful paint on the thing. I would not be afraid to take and put that out in the field or just take it to the parades on the weekend. This is another one selling at no reserve. And the Fords actually seem to be selling pretty good here today.
I think you brought a lot of them in with no intention of taking them home.
Yeah, the Fords, they were always real good tractors, a lot of them running around.
And $32.50 is what it's going to roll out. And lot S54 brings us to a 1947 Ford 2 in. This is from Dennis Jennings' collection.
And another one that's going to sell at no reserve. Original condition, older repaint, good original tractor. Got the original closed cleat rear tires on it. I love seeing those old tires, and they can be preserved like that. So does have the 3-point with the drawbar on there. So. And they were, those were always just painted that solid gray color. They never had the red belly on them, so.
Was done as a repaint. It's a good original tractor. Kind of tractor that might be a good starter for someone.
Yep.
Getting in and out of here.
Yeah, there's
over $2,000.
All kinds of parts available for them if you did need to do any engine work to it or whatever. But and the two ends, I mean, I don't know how many years they were made, but they were a good starter tractor for someone. And that one's going to sell, I believe, at $2,100. So
Max, this next one coming in, this one was a lot different than what I've seen in the Farmall series. It seemed to have a lot shorter end.
Yeah, and this one here, what it was, this is the answer. This is IH's answer to like the 420 high crop that we saw, or the 320 high crops. The AV stood for the high crop. They used a different designation, but it's got the offset seat on it, so you could see directly underneath the tractor. Good vision of what work you were doing if you were cultivating or transplanting or whatever. This one here also has what appears to be the cultivator on it, so. And a beautiful restoration on this. Pretty much what they did was they took a Farmall A and put the wheels off of a International C on the rear, and then put a taller spindle in the front end to level the tractor out and gave you a little bit higher clearance for cultivating. So. Also has wheel weights front and rear. Kind of an unusual option. You don't see that too often on these smaller tractors. So. And that one is also selling at no reserve.
Looks like it's going to roll out maybe just under $5,000. Not letting go anytime quickly. They see some movement on some of the people here in the arena.
And they're
5,000. And with that, we're going to take a break ourselves. You've been watching Mecum's Gone Farmin' Nashville. I'm host Mike Holland along with Max Wilson, and there's plenty more auction to come, so don't go anywhere. We'll be back right after this. Welcome back, everyone. I'm host Mike Holland along with Max Wilson, and you've been watching Mecum's Gone Farmin' here in Nashville. Let's get back to the action.
S56 is 1934 Farmall F12 with the wide front on it. Kind of an unusual option. You don't see many of them, at least in my neck of the woods. Pretty much original condition. Was probably on steel originally. Looks like those are probably cut off and rubber wheels and rims mounted. I actually talked to the guy. He said this thing had sat in the barn for probably about 10, 15 years when he bought it. He got it home, and all he did was go through and put some new diaphragms in the fuel pump. He said cranked it over, and the thing started right up. And he says run pretty good. So he figured he'd bring it here and see what it could bring. So. Another one selling at no reserve. This guy has got a few tractors here. I think the last few tractors have been from this same guy, the Jennings collection. And he pretty much everything he brought selling at no reserve. So.
And it rolls out at $1,500.
And that's going to bring an S57 is a McCormick Deering W12, which is pretty much the, you had the F12, this is the standard version of it. And you kind of look at that, a nice, small, compact little tractor. Selling at no reserve, runs good. I was actually around this tractor a little bit when we were moving stuff around, and it did run out real nice.
And of course, this tractor coming through at a no reserve means it will go home with an owner today. And it just clipped the $1,600 mark.
Yeah, knows the old McCormick Deering and the Farmalls, they don't ever bring too much. I mean, I don't know if it's just because there are so many out there or just not much interest or what. But. Okay, and it's going to bring in S59 is a 1938 John Deere A unstyled. This is also from the Dennis Jennings collection. Caster wheels, nice rubber. Pretty good running tractor. I heard it when it pulled in here. It ran out pretty nice. So. And of course, the unstyled A's were a very common and very popular tractor. This is a good entry-level tractor for someone wanting to get into the John Deere hobby. Parts are easy to find. And of course, this one here with the caster wheels, you got a little more weight to them, so you can actually go out and use them. I have got quite a few guys that run these at the plow days back home with a little two-bottom plow, and they're just perfect. And it's going to sell at $2,400.
Tractor to sell, no reserve auction.
And Max, another one coming through here. John Deere 40S at no reserve.
Yep, and another beautiful looking tractor. Of course, this one here, if you look at it, looks a little more like a John Deere M. It's in that configuration, a little bit higher. They call it the standard conversion, or standard version. Does have 3-point with no third link. Looks like newer tires all the way around.
Just hit the $4,000 mark. And remember, folks, if you've got tractors out there that you want to get in one of these auctions, you can always certainly log on to Mecums.com. Call them up there at their office in Walworth, Wisconsin. Dan would be happy to talk with you. These auctions are certainly gathering steam with more and more viewers each and every week.
Yep. Yeah, we've come a long ways in the last few years with these auctions, and it's always a lot of fun. And that's going to sell at $4,500, I believe, or $4,600. That's going to bring in S61, another no reserve auction, 1960 John Deere 530 with the single front wheel, deluxe fenders, has 3-point. Also has kind of unusual rear wheels on it, and the skinny tires kind of tells me that it was probably used in vegetable country. Power steering with that single front wheel on it, and of course 530s have always brought a good amount of money too. It just goes with that whole 30 series lineup, brings a lot of money. So
And hitting the $6,000 on this no reserve lot number S61.
And the 530, they're just a fun little tractor to play with. Easy to drive, easy to handle. Had a little backfire here, and everyone's acting like they got gunshots. So. Now it's $6,200 on that 530 with a single front wheel. And that one's going to find a new home.
Max, classic tractors are certainly the word of the day. People from all over come to see the tractors, but one of the things that also attracts them to these auctions is the vintage signs and memorabilia that they can find here, really like nowhere else. Let's take a look at some of the auctions that went up on the block. And it looks like we're moving over to M67, a Goodyear Farm tires. Single-sided porcelain?
Yep, single-sided porcelain sign. This one's 60 by 32 inches, so once again, we got another good size sign here. And of course, the wing foot there, that's always been the Goodyear logo for years. So. And of course, a lot of tractors did leave the factory with Goodyears on them, so.
Obviously, Goodyear had an entire division devoted for farm tires.
Yep. And of course, back then, a lot of people, automobiles, you wouldn't go to the same place get your automobile tires that you would your farm tires. Just like now, a lot of the tire stores, you go in there and ask for a 12.4 38-inch tire, they're going to sit and laugh at you and go, we don't handle those. So, and of course, a little bit of value in this sign right now. We're about $1,100, $1,200. So that one's going to sell at $1,100. All right, M68, a Ford tractor double-sided lighted sign. Of course, this one here is with the plastic sides with the aluminum frame, backlit on both sides. Very neat-looking sign. Looks like they've just got it mounted on a pipe to hang it out in front of, kind of display it a little bit, but right away at $1,000. So
we were talking earlier about the consistency of a brand. Ford is certainly a brand over the years. That logo really has not changed much. They have stayed very, very consistent, probably one of the most consistent brands out there.
Well, how much better can it be than the founder's signature? So, yeah, and that same oval, it's red on this sign. You buy a brand new Ford truck, it's the same logo, only with the blue and the blue colored. And they've used it, well, Ford's been making tractors a lot of years and trucks a lot of years, and they're still sticking with that same oval design. So this one here, I would guess, is probably with the red logo, is probably from the 50s, maybe mid-50s. I know they kind of changed things up a little bit after that, but $2,300 bid.
And as we make our way through the featured sign sections of this auction, on number M68 here, just topped more than $2,600 already.
Yeah, and this one's also is a good size sign, being 60 inches by 36. So
what would you say, Max, to a lot of about a lot of the collectors out there that are going to come to these auctions and buy up these signs? And do a lot of them just simply put them in collections? They try to resell them, use it as an investment?
Yeah, I think some do. Some of them are actually dealers. Believe it or not, there are guys that buy it here, and you never know, another week or two it might be on eBay. So, all right, and that's going to bring M69 as an Atlantic Gas and Oil double-sided porcelain sign. Of course, a lot of different petroleum companies years ago mom and pop operations that were selling fuel and that. And once again, this one here must be something down in this Nashville area. We're drawing some people from the East Coast there along the Atlantic Ocean. So once again, that's the fun part about going to different areas of the country. You come up with different types of signs, different brands. There's a lot of them, me being from the Midwest, that I don't see up around me. So. $600 that one sells for. So. All right, M70 is a McCormick Deering smalt paint sign. So what this is once again, it looks like it's a tin sign, but they use a smalt paint, which it's a different type of paint than a lot of places use, and it had a kind of a texture to it to begin with. And then as it aged, it just kind of faded and crackled, and that's why it's as faint as what it looks like. Did not hold up as well as the porcelain, so once the porcelain paints came out, that kind of helped preserve these signs. But very interesting sign, the old IHC logo on it. And of course the McCormick Deering, that was back when Cyrus McCormick and I believe it was Charles Deering came together to have the tractors and the line of equipment with the McCormick harvesters, so, and formed International Harvester. So very, very neat sign, and goes back to the history of a company when it was really kind of in its infancy. So,
well, and it's certainly being reflected out here. Just I think left for $1,750, and
M71 is a Miller tire sign, so single-sided porcelain. This is one of those vertical signs where if you had a little area, a post in your basement or your barn, you can hang it on that. The size on it is 17.5 by 78 inches, so it's a pretty tall sign. That's about 6'6", I think, if my math is right there, 6'6" high. So once again, you can see some scratches and a little bit of wear on it from where it hung up over the years, but that's one thing we've had down here is a lot of big signs this time. You know, a lot of times we got the smaller ones that people can put in piecemeal in, but we've had some big display signs down here that they bring some good money. The bigger they are, it seems like the more money they bring. So,
well, and you can hear the action in the background. Someone still sees the value in this. It's trying to just topple over $400 for this particular one. Miller Tires is not a brand that I'm certainly familiar with.
No, and back years ago, just like tractor manufacturers, everything else, there were smaller companies that got bought out over the years. So.
Well, Max, this is as good a place as any to stop the action. We're going to take a break real quick and hear from some of our sponsors, but don't you go away, because we're going to be back right after this. I think a lot of the tractors here today, Max, are really doing well. Some are better than expected.
Yeah.
Some are still rolling to that bid goes on.
Yep.
But I think for everyone out there watching us on today's show, we've got tractors. We still have a lot more lining up outside the door. And
yeah, there's plenty more to come, that's for sure. And right now we got lot S62 is a 1956 John Deere 70 diesel standard. Looks to be in her work clothes yet. Possibly the original rear tires on it. Sure looks like original front and rear. Has the adjustable wide front on it, which was unusual for the standard tractors. As I mentioned before, one of them comes through. This would be one that I'd probably take home and use on my farm yet. And right at $4,100 right now. Not a bad price for a 70 diesel. Might almost be a shame to restore that one. And bid's going to go on that tractor. Brings in lot S63 as a John Deere AR in original condition. Pretty nice looking tractor. Got all the original looking patina, runs great from what the consignor has told us. And a good price on this tractor. I'm about ready to take the headset off and go down there and start bidding.
Well, the reserve is off on this one.
And
I think this is going to be a fantastic candidate for a restoration project for someone. Still runs great. And good coat of paint on that one. You could bring it back to the next auction and clear a nice profit.
yeah, pretty solid looking tractor. So
goes out the door at $2,300 Paul's way.
All right, here we got one of our feature tractors selling at no reserve. 720 gas Wheatland lot S64. It's a 1957 model. Electric start, power steering, new 18430 Firestones, 750/18 on the front. PTO, dual hydraulics, 2-cylinder documentation. Shipped September 5th to Kansas City, Missouri with a destination of Lyons, Kansas. So another good workhorse right here that's been around the block and now been prettied up and brought here for us to sell. So
hitting fairly quickly at the $7,000 mark.
Yeah,
run this through.
720 gas Wheatlands, I think we're on the rare side. I think most of them were probably the diesels. The gas is probably runs right down there with the propane ones that were built. So looks like a little bit older restoration on this tractor, but still a nice, honest looking tractor, good and clean.
And as Dan Meekum makes his way over to some of the bidders here, he's seeing that he's been putting two-way war across the room.
And working with one of our guys that was over here, Dan was working with. He's one of our more frequent buyers here at the Meekum auctions. And now we're looking for $8,000 on this 57 820 standard, or 720 standard, sorry.
Rolling it out, holding up at 7,500, excuse me. I'm sure the seller would have taken 75,000 for it. 77.50 is what it rolls out at. Well, Max, as you know, we have buyers and sellers coming in from all parts of the country, and Kevin's actually wrangled a few right now up on the concourse. Let's go to him and see what he's got for us. Kevin?
We're here with Eddie Stacy. Eddie, you brought how many tractors with you today?
5 tractors.
So how many of your tractors sold today?
3 tractors sold today.
So you think this is a good spot for a John Deere buyer?
Oh, definitely. There was some high-dollar John Deere sold here today. But they were really nice tractors, collectors. And that's where the money's at, high-dollar stuff.
Well, thanks very much, Eddie. Really appreciate it. If you like your John Deeres, come on down. We've got some internationals, too.
Looks like it spent some nights outside, but tin is straight on this tractor. Fenders, 3-point, PTO. Got that factory wide front on it that's in good shape. So
obviously one of the ones on the list of our buyers right in front of us here. We're able to see a lot of this action firsthand.
Yeah, and the bidder we've got on this right now, he likes collecting those original tractors. I know I've been up to his place and seen some of his private collection. He really likes good original tractors. So.
Of course, Dan working him personally here. There he goes.
Yeah,
gave him the $6,000 mark. Sold it for $6,000.
Coming in is a John Deere 320 slant steer. Original tractor runs good.
Yeah, lot S66 John Deere 320 slant steer. so that means it's a little bit later in production. Original runs good. Looks like original rear tires on it. At least on the one side it's original. 3-point with the third link. The little 320s are nice little tractors. That one there sounded pretty good when it come rolling by us, Mike. And
sure did.
I mean, this one here be another candidate for restoration.
Sitting right there in a comfortable price of just over $5,000 for a really, really nice tractor. And here we go. It's back and forth now. Just hitting the $5,700 mark.
Yeah, we got a couple guys that are going on it. And, just hit $6,000, and the reserve has been lifted on that tractor.
Let's see what kind of $6,100 sold over our way here.
Yeah, S67 rolling in right now is a John Deere 430W. Good paint, show tractor, never been farmed with since restored. Power steering with the spin out rear wheels. Does have a front weight on it. Tires look good on this, and selling it no reserve be a nice little tractor for someone. $3,000 is a good price on this 430W. And we're still working on this 430W. It's got a good restoration on it. Good tires, power adjust. I mean, it's got a lot of the stuff people look for. The fenders are on it.
And with the no reserve, they're trying to get a little more movement up toward the $4,000 mark. I think a couple of people on this side certainly don't want to let it go. He just hit the $4,400 mark.
And they're going to start rolling that out. $4,400 on that 430W.
Not a bad price it brings. And as that last tractor just rolls on by, Max, we're going to take a quick break, but don't you go anywhere. We'll be back with more of Mecum's Gone Farm in Nashville right after this. You tuned in to Mecum's Gone Farm in Nashville. We're down here in Franklin, Tennessee. I'm Mike Holland. Of course, this is Max Wilson. He's kind of the encyclopedia behind a lot of these tractors and knows some interesting facts that I think only Max knows. But
I'm not the only one that knows all this stuff. There's other people out there. I can't be right all the time, but I try the best I can. So
we're going to assume you're right all the time, Max. And there's a lot more tractors to come. Certainly, no one has exited, from what I can tell, is just people continue to crowd up around, get the best view they can as the tractors make it both in and out of the arena.
Yeah, I actually think we've added a few more people as we've gotten a little bit further in here. We went through some great feature tractors, and right now we've got an Oliver Super 66. It's lot S68, and we're just shy of $4,000 on it. And Super 66s are kind of a different tractor. You don't see them too often. And this one here has a factory wide front. It is a diesel. From what I understand, there's a little bit of an issue with it running right now. Of course, down here in the south, they've got those mud dauber Hornets, and there's a little bit of a nest built in the intake, and we didn't want to take the chance of ruining anything with starting it up. So, but pretty straight tractor, and $4,000 isn't a bad price. And of course, the 66s, they had the 4-cylinder engines versus the 77s and 88s had the 6-cylinder engines. So.
And the bid's going to go on that one.
And we got another no reserve tractor right now, Mike. S69 is a Farmall I4, which would be the industrial version of the W4. Not a bad looking tractor, looks like an older restoration. New tires, runs real good. It sounded good as it rolled by us here as it was rolling into the block. And of course, they got a $2,500 bid right now, looking for 3. And Logan just said, as Logan said, the tractor sells today with no reserves. So. Those are a pretty unique little tractor. You don't see them too often. So.
Well, 2755, it rolls out, and here comes one of those tractors, Max, that again has caught a lot of people's eye. I know I've seen a lot of attention around this tractor. This one is interesting. Lot 7, or excuse me, S70. It's a 1967 John Deere.
2510 power shift diesel, or 2510 gas actually. Very rare low production power shift. Believed to be original hours on it. I don't have what the hours are on it. Beautiful restoration. These tractors have brought good money the last few auctions. So
I had a feeling this one was going to do really, really well. Absolutely perfect restoration on this one, 1967. But man, does that one look nice.
Yeah, it has single outlets on it, 3-point fenders. The paint on it was just perfect. I mean, I was kind of drooling over this one walking around. So.
And there he goes. Yep. Just took the reserve off. Somebody's going to get out of here with a heck of a deal, Max.
Yeah, this is a pretty fair price on this tractor. Really, I think owner was kind of thinking more, but he pulled the reserve, see if we can get some more out of it. So
I think in some of the previous auctions, I've seen some go for as much as the $15,000 mark. Goes out of here today at 11.5.
Yeah.
Somebody got a fantastic deal on that, I
believe. Got a good tractor there for a good price.
Well, folks, that's all we have time for today's show. But don't worry, we've got more auctions coming up next week. I'm Mike Holland.
I'm Max Wilson.
And we'll see you right here on RFD-TV, Rural America's most important network for Mecum's Gone Farmin', Nashville.